Hello students, in the previous lecture, we started the chapter Democratic Rights. It is the last chapter of class 9 CBSE course. In that lecture, we covered the starting stories which gave us a background regarding the rights a person should have in a democratic nation. In those stories, we realized how when the rights of people are taken away, then unfair behavior and injustice is seen in the society. So let's start with the basic rights which are provided to the citizen of India, rights in the Indian Constitution. As you must all be aware that our constitution provides the citizen of our country with some basic fundamental rights. They are basically 6 in number, and with the help of these rights, the citizen are secured with equality, liberty and justice as stated in our constitution in the preamble only. You could recall this from our chapter number 3 of our book, where we studied that the constitution of our country will provide us justice, equality, liberty and fraternity to promote peace and fair behavior in the society. So let's start with the first fundamental right. As you must all be aware that in some societies which are not well educated and not informed, in these societies discrimination is conducted on many different basis. It could be on the basis of gender, it could be on the basis of caste, it could be on the basis of economic status or any religious or cultural discrimination which hinders the rights of one person in the society. So, to overcome these problems, our constitution provides us with the right to equality. It means that the laws apply in the same manner to everyone without any reference of a person's status. This is known as the rule of law. With this power in our hand, no matter what the person does or what the person is economically or caste wise or of any difference, the law will be implemented on everyone in an equal manner. If a person which comes from a common background has committed a crime, he will be punished in an equal manner if the crime has been committed by any person holding a very high post, the president, the prime minister or someone of importance. If any crime has been committed, the law will treat each and every person in an equal manner and will be treated equally. In this right to equality, the government cannot discriminate the citizen on the basis of religion, race, caste, gender or any place of birth. If such kind of discrimination is practiced, then our constitution provides us with the right to raise a voice against him and follow a legal method to sort it out for a solution. In the same manner, the practice of untouchability is completely ended in our constitutional rights, and if in any society such practice is still being followed, then it is a punishable crime. To promote the equality amongst the citizen, the government also provides the facility that in the cases of government jobs, every person should get an equal opportunity. Now, one very critical thing is added to this clause, that certain sections of the society are given special privileges. In common language, we call it reservations in government areas, that certain number of seats are reserved for the people coming from these categories. If we are saving some seats for one section of the society, how can it be an equal behavior with everyone? This question rises up in every mind. But the clause of reservation was added in our constitution because with the orthodox framework of our society, some underprivileged sections could never get themselves in the mainstream till the independence and even till now. So, if they are not given an extra help, if they are not provided with an surplus benefit, then they can never break the foundation of the poverty or the backwardness that they've been facing and still going on in the same condition. So to give them an extra help, an extra support, the government provides certain seats in government jobs and offices which are reserved for these categories, and with this the government tries to uplift the underprivileged sections of the society. So, with these different clauses, the right to equality provides each and every citizen the same rights as anyone else in the society, which hinders the opportunity of discrimination in the society. The second fundamental right provided by our government is right to freedom. The right to freedom is a combined set of different rights that the government provides in order to make available the chances of working, expression and movement in as free as possible manner in our society. So the right to freedom is basically a right which breaks the constraints in the society and allows the citizen to work in the manner they wish to. But yes, it still carries certain provisos, certain conditions which barricades the freedom in a right manner. So let's start from point wise. The right to freedom, and the biggest freedom which a person can get is the freedom of speech and expression. If a person cannot be allowed to talk in a manner he wants, to express his feelings in the manner he wants, then this is the first barrier and the biggest barrier in the freedom of the individual's rights. In our country, the Constitution provides us with the right of speech and expression. That is, if the citizen have a thought, they can express it in public, and in fact they are free to criticize the government or the activities which are happening in the society. To express one's thought, different mediums can be used. People can go for the newspapers, they can distribute pamphlets, they can print and distribute it through magazines and spread their thoughts to the society. If a large number of people also think in the same manner, then the cause is supported and is taken seriously by the government. The most burning example of this right can be seen nowadays, the Lok Sabha bill, where the members of the Anna Hazare committee, they are expressing their views regarding the government, regarding the corruption which is prevailing in the society, regarding the lag which the government is making in taking decisions, and the frauds that's been happening throughout the government's rule, and also gaining the support of the people at the same time, the people who agree with the thoughts of them and who want to follow the same rule. If such freedom was not provided to them, then what would have happened? It could never have been a chance that a person could rise up against the government and speak his heart out or speak his thoughts in public. This would have been a hindrance in the freedom of the people. So, our government provides us with this right. Yes, there are conditions over this right also, that you can use different mediums to express yourself, but still you can never go violent or never use your freedom to promote violence against others. The next freedom that our government, our constitution provides us is the freedom to assemble in a peaceful manner and form associations and unions. Usually people assemble or make associations for gathering up their thoughts and exchange ideas and raise a lot of public support. But these associations, these assemblies that the people hold, they can utilize the strength, the human resource that they have, the public support that they have in a peaceful manner only. They can conduct meetings, they can conduct rallies, they can conduct public speeches, but all of this should happen in a peaceful manner. We can see examples of these associations with the NGOs that are formed. There are labor unions in factories, and such associations, such groups, they basically work on one agenda, which is the welfare of the members of the group. For example, if we are talking about labor association, then the labor association will provide the members with the benefits and will put forward their demands in front of the management and will fight for their facilities and their rights. So the Constitution provides us with the right to form associations and unions and put forward the demand of the association in a proper manner. Here again, the associations or the groups can never cross the line and go violent to put forward their own demand. The next freedom that the Constitution provides under this right to freedom is the freedom to travel throughout the country in a free manner. We are all aware that our country is a union of states, and if the people are not allowed to move from one state to another state, a lot of problems can be faced by the people. For example, every state is not complete in resources to fulfill their own requirements. For example, if we talk about Rajasthan, then it is a arid region. Very less agriculture is conducted here, as a result of which less employment opportunities are available here. On the contrary, if we talk about Punjab, then agriculture is at boom in that state, but apart from agriculture, the people are not engaged in much of industrial activities. So if we have to be confined to our states only, then we may not be able to provide ourselves with the employment opportunities or better opportunities for us. So the government gives us the right to move anywhere in the country, to work anywhere in the country. To take a normal example, a very funny example I would say, which I heard recently in the news, that the states of Haryana and Punjab, because the sex ratio there is very less and the number of boys is far more than the number of girls, so they are not getting the boys are not getting girls to marry. So to sort the problem out, they had to get brides from the states like Jharkhand and Bihar. So if there was any barrier of state confinement, then who would have done that and how could have they done that? It would have been impossible. So it is a benefit for everyone in the country. The next right that the government provides is the right of personal liberty or the right to life. Under this right, if a person is accused of a crime, then a procedure has to be followed to get to the line of justice. If somebody has committed a murder, you cannot just go and kill the person just as a sign of punishment that the person has killed somebody. There has to be a process, a procedure to be followed. The person has to be brought in front of the law, arrested in a proper manner, kept in custody, and the person should be given the reason for which he is arrested, and the person should be presented in front of a magistrate within the 24 hours of arrest. And even in the jail, they are given the right to consult a lawyer or hire a person of the law to defend his case. So this personal liberty, as we can recall from the example of Guantanamo Bay, that there the prisoners, they were not even treated as humans and were not provided with even the basic facilities that should be provided to them, and without giving any reason they were arrested and kept in jail. So the freedom of personal liberty is a very important right that the government provides. In the next lecture, we will cover the rest of the fundamental rights.